a full, we have a full calendar tonight. So I'm going to go ahead and we're going to open the meeting the Mary Kay way. And she based our company on God first, family second, career third. So, Trisha, if you would open us up in prayer, that would be great.
Yes. God, thank you for bringing us together. God, we give you all the glory, honor, and praise. And we just pray, God, that you will just prepare our hearts so we can learn what it is that you will have for us, Lord God, so we can glorify you and be obedient with the things that you've told us to do. In your precious name, Jesus. Amen.
Amen. Amen.
Amen.
So, all right, we're going to hand it over to Tanya for the good news.
Hi, everyone. Thank you so much for being here. I am on the Royal Facebook group. So I'm going to go ahead and first start with Jennifer, who had a very successful 15-minute messenger party, and she hit Diamond Star. Congratulations, Jennifer. We also have Valerie, who currently has three non-skincare customers doing the 5-day skincare trial, with 6 more starting on Monday. Way to go, Valerie. That's so exciting. We also have, who else do we have on here? We have Kristen Reed, who got 2 more new team members. Congratulations, Kristen. Trisha Roberts sold over $500 to 2 consultants this weekend. Congratulations. This is so exciting. And Susan Ellard made Emerald Star this week. Congratulations, Susan. That is so exciting. If you have any more exciting news, you can go ahead and put in the chat. And guys, that's awesome. What a great week you all had.
So, I'm going to go ahead and turn it over to Karen Wilson because she has a special guest speaker, and then she's going to continue her training on WIG.
Really,
Why? Oh, go
really
ahead.
quickly, all the announcements are in the royal family. We're not going to go over them tonight because we've got so much to share. So sorry, Cynthia. I just want to make sure.
No, that you were supposed to say that. Thank you. Oh, so
Cynthia,
and then
is he on?
yes, he's on.
Do you want me to
Okay,
spotlight him or both of you?
That it'd be great to spotlight him, but I have some I have an introduction bio if I don't screw up my phone to finding it. Okay, are we ready?
Uh-huh. Yeah.
Okay, well, everybody, I am like so excited to introduce you to Jason Kagobine. It's kind of funny. I've talked to Jason on the phone, so this is the first time I'm actually seeing who Jason is too. But he's an amazing person working here in Porter County, and especially in the area of domestic violence and all kinds of things. So he's going to tell you a story, but Family Promise of Porter County, Indiana. He's the Porter County Executive Director of Family Promise. Jason Kegabine is a Northwest Indiana native who has dedicated more than 20 years to serving the community through the nonprofit sector. Married with 2 children, Jason is passionate about helping individuals and families overcome hardship and build a strong future. And throughout his career, he has received multiple awards recognizing his humanitarian efforts, leadership, and commitment to community involvement. Under his leadership, Family Promise of Porter County has grown from a single homeless shelter in Portage, Indiana, into a 5-location organization, including a shelter home in Valparaiso, serving families and individuals experiencing homelessness across Northwest Indiana. So welcome, Jason. We are looking forward to hearing what you have to say. We are all working on promoting our roll-up bags to roll up to roll out domestic violence and help particularly the shelters in the area. And I know Gabriel's Horn in Portage has been a recipient, and Caring Place and other places too. So we'd love to hear from you and a little insight on what's happening in the world around us.
Awesome. Well, thank you so much for the opportunity to be here. It's incredible to see all the wonderful faces on tonight's screen and the success that you guys are doing. Can you hear me okay? Okay.
Can you hear?
I can hear. You can hear me better? Okay, perfect. All right. Well, as I was introduced, my name is Jason Kegabine. I have the privilege and the honor of serving as the Executive Director of Family Promise. of Porter County. We are the only family shelter in Porter County. There are many specific gender specific shelters in Porter County and Lake County, but we are the only family shelter, and I'll touch base on that in just a moment. And then recently, we also just taken Gabriel's Horns Women's Shelter up underneath our umbrella as well. And we'll talk about that growth and how we came about to that as well. So I started with Family Promise 3 years ago. Matter of fact, I just celebrated my third year on May 1st. What's supposed to be just 10 hours a week, just helping them to kind of get the organization up and running, has now turned into a full-time career, and I absolutely love it. We have started out at one house. It was 4 bedrooms, 2 shared bedrooms upstairs with a shared bathroom, 2 bedrooms on the main floor with a shared bathroom, kitchen, dining room, living room, and then of course in the basement was washer and dryer. To now we have 5 locations. We are currently right now in the midst of renovating one of our shelter sites. It was recently given to us. It's a 3,000 square foot old sleep study. So there's 7 bedrooms, and each room has their own bathrooms. We are renovating that now. We also have a big industrial kitchen that's going to be inputted into there, as well as a big washer and dryer room. And that's going to be able to serve 7 families at one time. So we're currently raising some funds to kind of close the gap of that project. We have a waiting list already of families to go into that site. They have 90 days in our program, and I'm proud to say that in that 90 days, we have an 86% success rate, helping families go from the street through the shelter into their own homes. Last year, we served 321 families, and of that was 733 children. So overall, we served 1,318 individuals last year. And we had a grant that helped us to do eviction prevention, and we kept 65 families in their homes last year, which is huge. So we have a mobile home that was also donated to us, and we can put a family of 5 in there. Currently, that's being occupied by a family of 5. We have the PRA building, which is currently being renovated. We now have Gabriel's Horn, so that's still going to stay single women and women with children. And all of our sites will now be able to serve, single men, single women, or the family unit. And every site, if we have opening, will be able to house any lady or woman that's experiencing domestic violence. The goal is to get them off the street and get into our program safely. And we have a couple of secured sites that none of our locations have any signage outside, so that all of our sites are very secure and you don't know where they are located. And then we just recently got a house in Valparaiso. So we are trying to expand. We are all of Porter County. So we have 4 single ladies staying right now out in Valpo. They love it. And we've had some great partners come on board since our growth and expansion out there. And we're also looking at some other locations as well. Recently, I've been reached out by 2 schools in Lake County, Gary, one of them, and Maryville's the other one, asking if we can expand our services into Lake County because it's needed in Lake County. Again, there's no family shelter out there. So we're looking at what does that look like? How can we expand our services and really provide some opportunities to help families to get back on their feet? And again, Family Promise is a national program. There's over 200 of us. There's only 4 in the state of Indiana, and we're the only one up here in Northwest Indiana. So we kind of have, the spotlight up here in this area to really serve and to help families that are going through homelessness and experiencing homelessness. I have a team of 6. When I first started, it was by myself. I was the marketing person. I was the case manager. I was the executive director. I was the maintenance guy. And then over the course of time, we have just grown and blossomed to where we are. We have some grant monies, but most of the monies that we do get is from fundraising. I have a phenomenal board and phenomenal fundraising committee, and we just got done doing our Nelson's chicken. Hence, that's why I'm a little sunburned. We were outside Saturday selling chickens, and we sold out. We did 650 chickens and over 20 pounds of potatoes, and it was great success. And now we're preparing for our golf outing that's coming up in June. So we have a phenomenal fundraising team. We have about 14 fundraisers that we do a year. And we're looking for sponsorships, we're looking for raffle baskets, we're looking for all kinds of different things to help support our initiative. We're getting ready right now to launch our Shooting the Star campaign, which is for 50,000, and we're looking to close the gap for the newest building that we're building. We have raised all of the money, but this project started a year ago. And unfortunately, because of the cost of living and the cost of everything, maintenance, constructions, we have a $50,000 gap that we're trying to get closed right now. So we have some people already lined up, ready to give to that campaign and help us to close that, so we can get the family safely into our shelter space there. So we have had families that we've been able to bypass our shelter because we've looked at their case and they've had some income, or I've had some grant monies that says, you know what, the best scenario for you would not go into the shelter, but let's get you your own apartment. And we've had 3 families right now that we were able to bypass the shelter and get them into their own apartments through something called a master lease program, which is a brand new program that we just kicked off here in Porter County, where we signed a lease and we walk alongside that family for a year. So it's going well. We're looking at some other landlords and some other units as well that we might do that, because we recognize that the shelter life is not for everybody. And we also are seeing a rising of families that have special needs children. So that shared space just isn't conducive for them and their families. So if we can find alternative ways to help them and their families to go through this journey, and get them safely placed somewhere, that's the ultimate goal. Like I said, last year we helped 65 families stay in their home by avoiding eviction. We did not receive funding this year for that, just because there's been so many grant changes and federal funds changing from the administration and from the White House and all the way down. So we did not get that, but we are now getting some funding specifically helping us to do some housing assistance. And what does that mean? That means helping us to buy some property and start building. So we're looking at down the line getting a big piece of property and building a huge site, because right now 5 sites is great, but we're driving all over Porter County trying to serve these families, and we want to make sure that we're not forgetting anybody and everybody's being served at the fullest capacity. So when a family comes in, they get 90 days in our program. They are automatically assigned to a case manager, and that is where the magic begins. They will have 12 uninterrupted 1-hour sessions a week with our case managers. Then they will have light case management throughout the week, where they'll have some conversations here and there, but they have a full 1 hour. Here's our goals. Where are you at with your goals? How can we help you? And we want to make sure that we're staying on target to get them to their next goal in their life, which is housing at that point. And like I said, we have an 86% success rate helping families to get through our program and getting them into their own homes. 2 quick stories, because I know time is limited. One of them is a family that we served in Chesterton. Dad worked for the railroad. Mom was not working. She was a stay-home mom. They had 4 kids. 2 of them were special needs. They lived in Chesterton. Dad lost his job. He made a mistake at the railroad, and of course, there's no room for error because of how severe that job is. They went through their savings. They end up finding themselves in a place where they had to be evicted. So we were able to bring them into our home that we have, and they were with us, and we were able to get them back on their feet within 70 days. We were able to get Dad connected to a new job at Work One, who was one of our huge partners. We were able to get Mom some training through Work One as well. So here's the benefit of the program too. So one of the goals is employment. And this is what I love about partnership and collaboration, is that one is, once they get into our program, they automatically get enrolled to all the partnering resources. So that's Work One is the first goal. So we were able to get them rolled into Work One, and because of that, they get a $1,500 stipend. So that helps them to get like car repairs, work clothes, gas cards, a computer if they needed it for schoolwork or for training certificates, whatever it might be. But that doesn't stop there. It follows them for the next 3 years. So by the end of it, they're going to get 3 years worth of $1,500 to help support them on their journey. So we were able to get mom and dad enrolled into that program. So right off the bat, they got $3,000. And because of that, we started a savings program with them. And that's how we were able to get them out of the shelter fairly quickly and get them back into their own place in Chesterton. Chesterton's middle school and elementary school never heard of our program. We reached out to them and let them know that we needed the McKinney-Vento program for the family. So that means that they have to provide transportation to our shelter, and that child has to remain in that school system for structure. That's a government law. For the structure of the child. So we were working with Chesterton School, and they just fell in love with our program and seen how it operated. That they call us from time to time to let us know, hey, we have another family experiencing homelessness, or hey, we have a family that's kind of going through this patch. What do you recommend? So the success story of that is not only did we help that family get out of the shelter within 70 days, but we also now built a great partnership with Chesterton's with Duneland school system. So now we're able to serve other children and other families in that school. Otherwise, they didn't know that we even existed. The other one was there was a single mom. She was pregnant. She had a child that was 3 years old. She was taking care of her ailing mother. They lived in a mobile home here in Portage, and they were facing eviction. And they had less than 24 hours to come up with $725, or they were going to be out on the street by 5 o'clock. Unfortunately, she had exhausted many of her resources, and a lot of times it's a one and done type of a service. Well, we just got the grant, so we were able to step in, and by 4:45, we were able to sign the check and keep that family housed. And still to this day, they're housed and on track moving forward because we still check in with them through like case management. That was a life-changing experience for me just because that just showed how quickly life can change. And I always tell people that, all of us are just one paycheck away from being homeless or experiencing homelessness, right? So when we get to that mentality and we understand the significance and the importance of the roles that all of us play in our community, it helps us to be more empathetic. It helps us to be understanding, so that we can help champion people to the next side of their life there. So those are some success stories. I can talk about this stuff all day long. I love it, but I don't want to take too much of your time. But if you have any questions for me, I'm open for questions.
Jason, can you speak to specifically Gabriel's Horn and the domestic shelter and some of the needs that might exist, or what does life look like for a shelter today?
Sure. So Gabriel's Horn, we started walking alongside of them last year in June. They had an executive director in the board, and they were just burnt out. They just were kind of, trying to navigate through all the changes. So the trustees office suggested that they work with us. So we began to work together. And by the end of that 6 months, we decided that the best result was they would come underneath our program. But we wanted to respect their legacy. We wanted to respect what they do. So we continue to keep that site for Gabriel's Horn and for women and women with children. So that site specifically is strictly for women and women with children. And because of the 5 locations now, we can kind of rapid house somebody if they are coming to us or referred to us through like the caring place, if they don't have space for that person, or the trustee's office, or through the police departments, which we have several police departments that reach out to us, and we can place that individual quicker. And then we partner with another organization that is strictly equipped in human trafficking or also domestic violence. And between both of our organizations, we're able to get that person out of the shelter and into their own home. So we have been able already this year. We were able to get seven domestic violence individuals through the shelter program less than 90 days and get them back in their feet into their own homes. What we do for them is because a lot of times they're being searched for. So we don't put them into our system per se. We put them in as a Jane Doe. And then what happens is once they move out of our program, then we can go back in and change the Jane Doe to their actual name so that we can get the federal grant funding to support that. But while they're in our care, we do that specifically to protect them. And then we have specific funding that can help them to get into their own place and pay their first month's rent and security deposit, and then up to 3 months after that. But again, same concept. We get them into We get them into work one. Work one works with a Jane Doe, and then they help them to kind of get back on their feet so that they can be secured in that process. We've also had to help 4 of those 7 individuals change their names completely. So we had to go through a name change and all that kind of a process just because of the severity of it.
Wow.
Yeah.
We really
We
appreciate all you do.
thank you, thank you. Our operation hours are Monday through Friday, 9 to 5. But ultimately, we know that homelessness has no time, right? So it could call at 3 o'clock in the morning, and that's pretty much when those domestic violence cases come. So we have had some of those cases that have come in, and we will take them into the program immediately. And then we will then work with them the next day to get them to connected to all the resources. Again, we want to make sure that they are safe and off the street and do what we possibly can to help them in that time.
What is your organization most in need of that a group of like us could help you?
So, you would laundry soap is always a huge need, right? If we want to start low, laundry soap, we have 30 bedrooms, so you can imagine, um, the laundry soap that goes out of the way fairly quickly, especially if there's children involved. So there's that entry kind of level. Toilet paper, paper towel, those things go really quickly. So we always can use that. And then we also help families when they move out of our program and get them into their own places. We help them to kind of furnish their apartment. So we have a very, very, very small storage area that we can collect some furniture for them. So if they need a bed or if they need end tables or they need a kitchen table, dishes, a lot of those types of basic necessities that someone would need moving into their own home, we have some space that we can help them to do that. On the bigger scale, like I mentioned, we are renovating the site. We're collecting $50,000 towards that. So any financial support would help with that as well. So again, those are just kind of the three levels that I like to share with everybody: laundry soap, paper towel, toilet paper, that kind of stuff directly impacts the clients. And then as they move out and graduate from the program, we have the resources that they're going to need. And on the organization as itself, as the whole, is that big capital campaign there. So hopefully that kind of spreads it across everywhere, and however that would work best for you all.
Great. Thank you so much.
Absolutely. If you guys have any other questions, Karen, I believe you have my email. You can pass it on to everybody.
Yep.
You can go to our website. You can follow us on our Facebook. We just got Instagram and LinkedIn. Soon my marketing person's going to do TikTok. So you can follow us on those fun things there, so that we can get the word out. But again, thank you for the opportunity for me to be here tonight to share what we're doing. And I appreciate all of you and all that you're doing for our communities. Thank you.
Thank you.
Have a good one.
Wow,
Okay.
that was fabulous. Oh, so Karen,
I
I'm
have no
gonna
idea
let you
that was all
keep.
going on there.
I know.
That was a lot. Yeah.
So,
So Gabriel's Horn is I went in that shelter and I was really curious how the transitioning, how that was all happening. And so it sounds like the partnering is actually providing more services and helping these women faster become independent, which is what the goal of every shelter is, and the type of women that come into the shelter, because there's all different types. There's people, educated women with very high incomes that are being highly abused at home, and they need to get away. And then there's the flip side where the person has absolutely nothing. They just walk out of the house in the middle of the night and they are just themselves, period. End of story. They might have 2 children in tow with them. So
yes,
that was good.
Thank you for asking him to come and speak to us. So,
It's a real thing. I think it's really eye-opening to learn about, places like him, but like they have.
yeah.
Yeah.
And Sandy just reminded me that her and I and Deb McIntyre as Mary Kay ambassadors for the foundation presented a check to St. Jude's and Crown Point. So
Yeah.
that
Good
was
job.
that was very eye-opening and emotional and anyways. And then I don't know if Sandy wants me to, do you want me to say what you just text me or not? Yes, she said. Okay, she was in a shelter back in her first, she had a very horrible first marriage. And so, and she was in a shelter, so she escaped. Thank you, Jesus.
Yeah,
So,
for sure.
yeah. So anyways, thank you for having him come on, and that was perfect timing with our, you know, what we're raising funds for to give to the shelters wherever we live.
The
And
roll up to roll out for domestic violence bags, right?
Right.
yes,
Right.
thank you. I knew I had a name.
Mhm.
So,
And
and
I added in, like, to my own customers, I'm now talking about this new blush because they can do a blush as opposed to a mascara or lip gloss. I added it into the mix because if they purchase one, the money goes back to Mary Kay Ash Foundation to continue doing the work it does too. So,
yeah, I'm pushing that too big time. And
mhm,
I just love these things. And
mhm,
I'm like, oh my gosh, this is like the
mhm,
best thing ever. And did you
mhm.
know, I think Mary is the one that told me, but they roll up.
They
You
do
have to
roll up.
really, really
It's
twist
almost
it.
like, am I gonna break it?
Yeah, but
It feels, but then it just
Oh, look
rolls
at
super
it. Yeah.
easy.
Wow.
yeah. So there's a ton of product in here. And so I'm really like, I'm loving these things. They're so easy. And you can use them like Karen as lipstick. I have this one
Here's my
on.
lipstick. Mhm,
Yeah, I have this one on as lipstick. I did put it over another lipstick, but I use this a lot as lipstick.
mhm.
So, anyways, and I'm really emphasizing that that $1 goes to the Mary Kay Ash Foundation. And let's see, Deb had her own experience, and then Lisa Ward, she said, for some reason I can't see the chat.
It said I
So,
was in a shelter with my first daughter. Lisa
oh,
was.
Oh,
yeah, so I mean, it's not far from, it's not far from
Mm-hmm.
any of us. So, um, and before Karen speaks, Mary Catherine wants me to divide us into two teams to really help to grow this roll. Mary, what is it? Roll out.
roll up to roll out.
Roll up to roll out.
Thank you. So, I wrote everyone's names down, so I'll put the groups in the royal family. And then I'll ask her if she wants me to make the messenger group or she's gonna make it. But so we are gonna be divided up into teams tonight. So, but I'll let Karen, you take over, girl.
All right. Well, here we go. So I'm not seeing the chat either because I get like squirrel moments and get distracted. So last talked about wildly our goals, why we don't make them, why we put them off. We talked about a lot of things, but we ended with a life a life assessment. And thank you, Tracy. She put out a beautiful little graph circle with pieces of the pie. And the idea was that you were to think about those different segments of life and give yourself a rating on them. So, I'm curious to know, like, how did you guys do? If somebody wants to, maybe just one or two, like, did you learn anything about yourself, or did you find it hard to do, or did you go, oh, wow? Anybody?
What I did, this is Analia. I went back to the recording and I definitely, did my chart. It wasn't hard because kind of did something like that before, but not too long ago actually. But then this gave me, like you said, a little bit more clarity. But yeah, there are some things there are right now getting kind of in the way of like you said, life happens. So,
Yeah.
but I felt good to do it actually, and I'm like, okay, sounds good. It was really good training, and thank you again. And it's gonna continue to be good training right now. I know. So
Yeah,
thanks.
now we're going to find out what to do with it. Anybody else something you learned or you didn't realize?
Yeah, this is TK here, Trouble TK O'Hara. I did my relationship circle or my relationship me in all the different areas and found out that you said to use the first number that popped into your mind,
Mhm.
that if we had to wait for motivation to do these things, that we'd never get it done. And I realized, because right now my relationship is good, my health is half and half, and purpose, home, and money have a little bit of stuff in it, and work is really way down there low at this point. I just feel like I'm being inundated from all different sides, and I've got to reprioritize a few other things in there to be able to do the things and meet the goals that I have. I have goals to be able to pay off my mortgage, to be able to let my husband, retire and take care of things, but I can't do that if things keep going the way they are.
Yeah.
So,
So that's one of the most important parts about the life assessment. And so I want to take just a minute and I want you to think about your what and your why. So when you're facing times of change, it's easy to sit around and wish things were different, right? Many times we don't know what we're wishing for, though. And so, what exactly do we want to change so we can improve one of those life assessment areas? And so, a lot of times we might realize, just like what you said, I need, if I continue doing what I'm going to do, this is not going to get any better. So then you have to start thinking about, well, what do I need to do to make it better? And in order to do that, something else has to push to the side or change. And then that becomes pretty overwhelming to think about. So we just put it all aside and we just keep going through our day to day. We start going back to our urgent self instead of what our future self wants to really have. So the question is, what emotional, intellectual, or physical change are you really longing for? And what desires do we have that we may not even want to share or really discuss with anybody, but we know something needs to change? What financial goals do you want to hit, but they feel beyond your capability? What will it take to begin turning some of those dreams and ambitions and wishes into reality? Because for
did
many
you
of us,
freeze?
those dreams and reality have been there for a long time, and we just keep pushing them back or down or away. And then we realize all of a sudden, oh my gosh, I'm running out of time. Like I missed my opportunity or whatever is going on. But when you take time to figure out exactly what your what is, that thing, that change, that new beginning that you really want most out of life, and you allow yourself to believe it can become true, then you can begin thinking about a plan to how to make it happen. Now, some of us are really good at making plans and we decide, nope, I'm going to change that. And then we think that we're going to do it in like the next 5 hours and fix our whole life. Or we think we're going to, oh, I'm going to work on that. And because I want to fix that. And by May 31st, I'm going to have that done. And the reality is that's not probably realistic for most of the things that you might be thinking about. but you can take a step in the direction. And that's what the life assessment is helping you do. It's kind of like it's showing you where maybe you don't rank as high, but you can't do all of those areas all at once. It's not realistic. So out of your life assessment, I think we talked about you are going to pick five things that if you really focused on trying to achieve 5 steps, 5 things, and this is going to be hard to really discuss as a group because somebody might say, I want to lose, like for me, like I want to lose 10 pounds and I'm trying to finish a divorce. And there's little baby steps involved, but those are like the bigger goal. But I have 5 out of my life assessment. And then out of those 5, we're trying to come up with what's the one most important one? Because 5 is still a lot. And you might not be able to achieve all 5 of them. So what if it's now June 30th, or it's we're going to say the end of the year is kind of what we're focusing on for the Mary Kay time period. It's June 30th. What are you going to be most happy that you made progress on, or you hit what you wanted to do? And if you narrow your list into 5 items, and maybe all 5 are with one category, maybe 5 are with 5 different categories. You might have 2 and 3, like everybody's is going to be different because it's yours. But
I'm sorry, can I interrupt you for a minute?
yeah.
Just 1 minute. Some are kind of related. Okay, because I'm trying to do better, of course, with the sales and Mary Kay. I want more income, but I also am trying to get hopefully a job that gives me insurance, like some benefits. And at the same time, I'm looking for an apartment. So that was one other thing, the home environment or the home, I'm okay where I'm at right now, but it's going to be temporary. So there is related. Like, of course, if I have more better income, I'm going to be able to afford maybe a nicer apartment and things like that. You know what I mean? So they're related, kind of.
So that happens a lot, and many times you do find out that they're related. So the key is, again, putting yourself in the timeout box and going, okay, they are related, but which one, and maybe they're related, but there's one activity that will fuel and give you the momentum that will affect other things. Because you can't split all your time up on a little bit of everything, because a little bit here and a little bit there leads to not a lot sometimes to make an impact. So just based on what you said, like I would think, really your overall goal is you're trying to improve your finances because finances give you choices. And so what do you have to do that you could really focus on, give it 100% effort over and above, like you could be kind of looking for an apartment or a place to live, but you're not going to you're not going to take time doing that away from time that's earning you income, because that is what's going to give you the fuel. So you have to kind of prioritize those related things. Does that make sense?
No, it does definitely. Yes.
Okay. So your what, let's go back to this. When you take time to figure out your what, and you allow yourself to believe that, then it's time to ponder your why. Because I spend a lot of time on what, and then I'm like, yeah, well, I don't. So when you don't feel like doing something, that's where your why takes over. Your why has to be strong enough to pull you through that goal. Because without knowing your why, you will not have an inner drive to do the work it takes to achieve your goal. And here's the test. Just ask yourself the question, what have you not followed through on? And why? And you can't say, oh, well, because, life got in the way. All right, that's true. Life gets in the way. Life will continue to get in the way. There's always something around the corner every day. But I always think there's a long time ago, actually in Mary Kay, if your child was on top of the Empire State Building and had to no, let's see, that's not the right word. That's not what this, there was a story about like your child is being held hostage, and what would you do to save your child? You would do anything to save your child. And you would walk, if you had to walk across two high-rise buildings, would you do that to save the life of your child? It's amazing what we do when we have, because there's a purpose and there's a why there. And there is nothing that would get in your way. And so you have to get that why to where that speaks to your inner self. Like, I'm not letting myself off the hook, because why? We want it so badly that you have to keep going when you don't even feel like it. And when you've determined your what and your why, it's time to get really serious about then the goals. And so sometimes, like, you can set a goal and the goal doesn't happen because you're not committed enough to it, and that's just the bottom line. You're just not. And so the challenge is getting the quiet time and the clarity to really picture what it means to reach that goal. And so out of your life assessment, I'm talking about finding 5 things, and now I'm going to say, now you're going to look for that one. What is the one? What's the one that you're like, you're in a season of life that you absolutely can do the work needed, and you understand why it's so important that you get it? I mentioned last week, like for myself, I have this divorce. If I don't get this divorce off my plate, it's going to hold up 5 other areas in my life. And when I started seeing how that one thing was really affecting everything else, I felt sick. I mean, I literally felt sick because I'd been putting it off and putting it off and putting it off. And I really need these other areas to like go away. And something came up just last week that I'm like, I gotta, this is definitely something it's got to get done, because it will really hold up a lot of things. And so I have to keep reminding myself of why it's so important. Why? So that I keep taking the next steps that I need to do. So your 5 on fire list is what would move the needle and what will make you say, wow, I'm so proud of that. What 5 things would actually change your life? When we do everything at once in all the areas all the time, we're making minimal progress, and our goal is we want to make a bigger progress. So what are the things, what are your thoughts, beliefs, and the resistance that you actually need to prepare yourself for, so that you can achieve those things? Because every bit of all the work you've done in picking them out, and that's only part of the work. Part of the work is, what are you putting in place to protect that so that you can do that? Because life will happen. And so one of the things somebody I listened to, they talked about harmony and balance. And I really love this definition that our goal should be harmony, not balance, because balance is like equal. I'm trying to make everything like work together. And that can be defined a lot of different ways. But I think I like the word harmony, because to have harmony, you're doing enough to create some peace and some joy and some calm, but you're still moving forward. And one thing isn't getting overly heavy to another. Even though you might be working, let's say one of your big things is a relationship issue. And if you focus all on the relationship issue, that would create what we would say is unbalanced. But that's not going to happen, because if we think of it, I'm trying to create harmony in my life, I'm going to bring this area up a little bit so that these other areas can coexist peacefully. So I like that word harmony, and I try often when I get overwhelmed to go, what do I need to make it feel harmonious right now, or make it feel calmer and not so chaotic? Another thing is, what systems do you need to put into place to reduce your the effort and reduce decision fatigue? So if you want financial success with your Mary Kay business, you're going to have to do some bookings. You're going to have to make an effort. And then I've said this before, you go to do bookings. Oh gosh, what am I going to talk about? Okay, what am I going to say? Who am I going to call? When should I call? What should I do? What should I post on my page? Like our mind is fried with all the decisions. And so what can you do to make it simpler and reduce decision fatigue? You know, if you know your home life, maybe it's chaotic. What can you do to make it calmer and so you have more time to put the attention where you need it? Maybe it's you have to make a better effort at meal planning. Maybe you have to, carve out 2 hours of time that somebody's going to watch the kids, or you're going to have you're telling people what you need and you're making the time for it. But what system do you need? That's important. Now that we have all of that going on and thinking about all that, so we can only control output goals, not always the outcome. So, okay, so you're going to work on your Mary Kay business and you start making some calls and, you get some, I'm not interested. No, I don't want to do that. No, crickets. You're sending texts, crickets. So you can only control the output. Did you do the work that you told yourself you needed to meet your goals? You can't control the outcome. You can only control your activity toward your goals. Because if you quit and you're like, oh, this isn't working, and then you quit and you give up on your goal, well, guess what? You're never going to achieve the goal. So if you set an outcome goal as your wildly important goal, one, what's your most important out of your list that you have? What's the one most important thing? You might want to check and make sure, first of all, you have to create it. It has to be it's an outcome goal, but what does it take to earn it? So like if you're working at earning a car, like some of the directors are, that's an outcome goal. Outputs, that means you have to earn that car. There's so much activity that has to happen on a daily basis. There's so many no's, there's so many yeses, there's so many dollars that you're trying to achieve. And you have to stay focused on that so you can have a success at the end of the day. I did what I said I was going to do. It will happen. It will work out. Most of the time, we're just not willing to make the effort. We let our emotions get in the way and we start forgetting what our what and our why was. And we just say, no, forget it. I'm not doing it. It's too hard. And we quit. So, how do you, that wildly important goal that you want to do, what do you have to do to make that happen? Because you can, again, a goal, I want to lose 50 pounds. Well, I wish I could go, boom, and lose 50 pounds, but I can't. So what do you got to do to lose 50 pounds? What do I have to be committed to? And so I had to think about that because health is important to me right now while I'm doing other things, but I still want to lose 50 pounds while I'm trying to get this divorce finalized. So it's a daily effort. It's daily choices. I had to make myself a little checklist. Am I drinking my 8-ounce glasses of water? How much protein? I just had an appointment today and I was looking at macros and counting protein and counting carbs and what do I need to calorie wise? And I got a new area to track because I need something different to track so I don't get bored, because I get bored and quit. And so I know that about myself. So I have to create my own little system to do that. And now I have to carry that into my week and my day and maybe even my hour at the rate I'm going. Like how much water did I drink the past hour. I didn't drink any in the last hour. So I got to drink water when I get off this call. But I'm just reading my note here, man. Daily. So how do you take your things and get them into your daily effort? Well, first of all, having a daily schedule is really important. And I love this saying that I learned by somebody else online. It was batch, not bunch. So we take a bunch of stuff and we throw a bunch of stuff in the day. Well, I challenge you to think about batching things together. What can you batch together so you're making one effort, but it's helping you hit those areas of your goals? You have okay, here's a good example. You have errands to run. Schedule a time to run your errands, but make a deal with yourself. While you're out running errands, you're going to make 3 new contacts. You're going to try to find 3 new customers while you're doing it. That's an example of batching, not bunching. Bunching is I'm going to go run my errands and then I'm going to come home and try to find somebody to talk to. Well, put them together and then schedule it. Schedule when you're going to do that. If you're going to work on social media, you're going to work on Instagram and Facebook and everything all together because you're on the computer. Your mind is focused. You're not going to have the decision fatigue because you're going to first figure out what it is you're going to talk about, but you're going to hit those categories on all those social media. You're not going to go, I'm going to do Facebook here, and then like in 2 more hours, I'll go back and do Instagram, and then I'm going to do here, because you're bouncing and you can't do that. You need to like be cohesive, because the breaks in between is where life happens. That's where the kids need something, the husband, you're going to go run to get a drink or a coffee, or you're going to do whatever. I mean, that's what happens. We get distracted and we go, I just ran out of time. I never got to do what I wanted to do. So think about batching and scheduling time. Another great tip I just saw, and I'm trying to work it. I'm a visual. I need visual clues. And so if you have on your life assessment, if you assigned a color to each of those categories, or you assigned a color to the categories that you are choosing to work on, and then you have a totally different color for your WIG goal, I challenge you to schedule yourself, block out time on your calendar and do it in color. So at the end of the day, you can go, look at all the pink on my page. I did work on my business because you gave Mary Kay the pink coloring of your page. If you said you're going to work on relationships, something in relationships, then whatever activity is involved in that, give it a color purple. But your challenge is, every day, do you see a little purple on your page, or do you see the appropriate amount of purple that you need to achieve what you want to achieve? If you want to get your house in order, you can't officially achieve the big project at home unless maybe you need 15 minutes a day. But are you going to see the color yellow on your calendar for those 15 minutes? Did you commit to it and stick with it so you can celebrate? You're not celebrating you finished it yet, but you did what you told yourself you're going to do. And you're making progress. And it is crazy when you start making progress, how much more you get hungry for it and you want to keep going. But if we don't have a good what and a why, fueling and supporting when we get defeated, we get knocked down, we got the rejection, that what and the why has to carry us through. And so does our community around us. So, post on the royal family. What success did you have? Maybe you didn't hit a sales number, but you made those 10 contacts. You reached out to 20 people. You did whatever you said you were going to do. That's a win. You didn't give up. That's a win. You took a step forward. And if you keep doing that, it'll come. You can ask any of the directors. I know for a fact, Cynthia, for sure. Cynthia worked hard to become a director. I said, I remember the days where she was working on it. She didn't give up. She just kept working. She didn't have easier people, better people, more people that spent more money. She didn't have any of that. She did the work. She did the steps, and she focused on doing the action and didn't worry about the outcome. It will come. Think big, plan small, batch together. If everything you do is important, nothing is important. So you have to create what is important. Because if you're just mixing in everything all together and attempting to get it all done, you're not giving anything, you're not making anything important. And you clearly you did your life assessments and you said, these are things that are important to me that I want to change. So don't shrink back on that. You can do it. We can all do this. I'm going to leave you with this thought. It's now June 30th. It's the end of the Mary Kay year, or it's the end of a quarter. I love working in 90 days. That's like a great thing for me because it's not too long. It's not too short. That's just right. So how am I going to feel? How are you going to feel on June 30th? What are you going to be most excited what are you going to see progress on? Not disappointment, not all the things you should have done, not any of that. What did you do? We are going to face obstacles. We're going to face obstacles we can't control, and we have to keep figuring out how to work around them so they don't hinder our progress. The biggest struggle is sometimes just right here, what we're thinking about the whole thing. So we all struggle with self-defeating perspectives. We like to look at our current reality, and we can't even fathom sometimes how it could be different. I feel so blessed because I remember I am constantly reminded of sitting in my living room, crying, thinking I will never, ever get out of a bankruptcy I was in. There's no way. I just felt so defeated. And I am thankful that my Mary Kay business and being around positive people kept my head above the water and helped me see things differently. And you just don't know. You just don't know what you don't know. And it's amazing. Like, I'm so blessed. I'm sitting in a house that I built. I never in my life ever dreamed that would be possible. So you all can do it. You're all God's masterpieces. I love telling people that because you are. And so, do what's important and don't let life distract you. It's hard. It is hard. Takes work. Baby steps, think big, plan small, think big. Don't let anybody take that dream away from you. We have like 2 minutes. Questions?
That was fabulous. Just so you know, that was absolutely fabulous.
If we don't have questions, does somebody want to come off mute and give some praise to Karen? That was amazing. I took so many notes. Cynthia and I have had this training before, but I have pages of notes. So
Me too.
share, Karen. It's amazing. Thank you very much.
Yeah. And just a little FYI, life is so incredible. So I'm trying to take all these notes and I can't keep up with Karen. And I'm like, oh my gosh, I'm going to have to listen to the recording. And I'm like, oh my gosh. And then
Life is chaotic, is what it is.
yeah.
Chaotic.
So Then I get a
Thank you
text.
very much, Karen. It was very enlightening.
You're
Yes,
welcome.
it was wonderful. So I get a text from my customer. She's like, "Oh, I heard my husband was on your meeting tonight." And I'm like, "That was your husband?" She's like, "He recognized you because he writes checks to you."
Oh, how funny.
I'm like, "He recognized me?" I'm like, "He did?" And I'm like trying to take notes and talking to her. And yeah. He's like, "Yeah, he writes checks to you. He recognized
You know, I
you."
before we end tonight, I really, really, really want to encourage all of you. And yes, life is chaotic and life is busy and everybody has life around them. But I just encourage you all as women to fight, fight for a quiet time that you can be quiet. If you, and literally, I think of Mary Kat, if you have to get up early and you're not a morning person, but that's the only place you can do it, like do it because it will be hard, but it will become easier. And it will put a sense of calm and peace inside yourself, not outside. It's internally for you to be able to really work through whatever you need to in the day because you've had the time of gaining clarity before the day got out of control. And so, I mean, we all know if we have a to-do list in front of us before we step out the door or whatever, we have something in mind that we need to do. The question is everything on the to-do list, is it supporting the goals that you say you want to achieve? And you just have to take the time and you need to pray about your goals. And if they're on your heart, there's a reason they're on your heart. God put them on your heart. So what does he have to say about helping you? So just take that time. I've spent so much quiet time this past probably 6 to 8 months, more than my whole life. And I guard it. It's like, I mean, the minute I have to leave my house and be at an 8 o'clock meeting, I'm almost like irritated because I like my quiet time. You know, I don't want to rush. I don't want to do anything before 7:30. I want to take my time. So find that time, fight for it.
Yes, but does anybody else want to come off mute and give Karen some accolades, some Yahoo? Woohoo.
There is lots of thank yous in the chat, Karen. TK.
Yeah, I just wanted to say, I mean, I got a lot of notes again this time, and you said it was important to have a daily schedule
Mhm.
and be able to do that before we start on our day, so we have purpose and clarity about what's
Right.
going on.
Right.
Is that thinking about just one goal, our main goal, and working on that, our priority goal, and kind of working towards that? Or
I think you have to schedule
I
time
was a
for
little
make you
confused.
want yeah, you want to
Yes.
you want to make sure your most important goal, there has to be one that takes precedence and you want to make sure you see you make time for it. But you're going to be working on those other things like they're going to sneak in there and you're going to want to have them sneak in there and it depends on what they are. That's what's hard. You know, like I said, if one of your things is like get your house in order, then maybe can you find 15 minutes 3 days a week to work on cleaning up something? You know, whatever, maybe it's just a little step that will lead to the bigger picture. And maybe
Mhm.
you're going to also, you have to think about when is your energy the best and when is it not the best? Because trying to like do something, I don't know. I listened to a thing and the lady said she had 2 kids and they come home from school and she kept trying to do something really important between the after school to dinner time, which is ridiculous because life is way too chaotic during that time. You know,
Mhm.
I come home from work and the
Yes.
last thing I want to do is anything important. I want to like chill out for at least an hour and a half and then I might do something. But I know myself, but in the morning I'm like full of energy. I can do lots of things, but not until after 7:30. So,
Right. Well, I wanted to tell you thank you. I love the think big, plan small. I
mhm.
think I'm going to print that up and put that all over the house to remind me of what I'm doing.
Yeah, reminders all around your house are a really great thing. That's
Yes.
excellent. It's a visual. It's telling your mind what's going on instead of your mind going, I don't know what we're doing. I don't know what we're doing today.
Yeah, I have that problem a lot right now.
Yeah.
Empty nester.
Yeah.
Oh, so and Tracy put the 15-minute blocks of time will help with this. And that's
Yes.
so
Mhm.
true. That is so true. So, um, anyways, great meeting, and I can't wait to see the recording and listen to it again. So, anybody
Yes.
else
Cynthia,
before
you
this?
can call me. You just
Okay.
call me.
Okay. Oh, the other thing, you know what I forgot to put in the announcements? It's that this week you can sign up for seminar. So, yeah, so look for that. They'll send you an email. So, anyways, and if you get Mary Robeson figured out, if you get 2 people on Tuesday night, the Tuesday night skincare, and 2 people buy a set of skincare, then you've paid for your seminar. So, yeah, break it down, right, Karen?
I think
Break
we
it
said
down.
have 5 people, like invite five.
But
Get 5 yeses so that it's a numbers game like everything. So if you get 5 yeses, 2 should get on. If 2 get on and buy the skincare, then you've got your seminar paid for, your registration, and then you can focus on your travel and your room and break it down. And if you've got questions, reach out to your director and she can help you break it down farther.
yeah, and then I got everyone's name, so Mary Catherine will put you guys on teams so we can um race to the finish line to get as many roll-up bags and lip glosses and mascaras for these women in the women's shelter. So,
I got, I
anyways,
got,
okay.
I'm going to tell you something really fast.
Yeah.
Think big, plan small. I was listening to a Mel Robbins podcast today.
Mm-hmm.
And did you know that if you wanted, so this is everybody that has financial concerns, if you wanted to save $10,000 in 1 year,
Yeah.
all it requires is $27 a day.
Oh, wow. Oh.
All right. So now I'm going to go, if that sounds like too much, okay. So $27 is $13.50 a day. And I immediately, as soon as I heard the number, I'm like, $13.50, that's, you got to sell one foundation every day. That's your profit. Yeah, like break it down, dream big, plan small, but really like that's, I was floored when I heard that number. $10,000, 27, 20, it's 27 and some change a day.
Wow. Thank you
I
for
know.
sharing that.
I know.
So,
Just 27. I mean, just $27 over 3 days is like, or 2 days is like, 50 some dollars. And I'm like, shoot, we went out to dinner and the bill was like 60 something, I'm like, okay, well, it's not
yeah.
that you can't do it. You have to look for new ways to think about it. That's all.
Mm-hmm.
There you go.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, thank you very much. And you guys, if you have to get off, you can get off. But I got to tell Tracy something super funny about the 15-minute blocks of time that I'm doing. And I'm reaching out to people that have birthdays and, wishing them a happy birthday. And then, just connecting with them. And then after we have a conversation, I say, oh, by the way, since you're one of my May birthday girls, I have a gift for you. Do you want the details? So, anyway, so I'm booking this one girl and I hadn't heard from her. So I went back to follow up with her. And she's like, well, my birthday's not until July, but yeah, tell me the details. I don't know how I did that.
You wanted to be early.
So it's like the 15-minute blocks of time really work. Just make sure you know when somebody's birthday is. But we've had a great time, this girl. So you never know. what will happen when you set a goal and you're like, no matter what, I'm gonna do this. So, anyways, I can't see what Chelsea said. So can
I said you were just ahead of the game, Miss Cynthia. It's
oh
okay. My birthday's in August, by the way, if you want to send me one next month.
okay. Oh, so anyways, thank you, Karen. Thank you, Tracy,
Thank
for
you.
your training too earlier. So, anyways, have a great night. Thank